Welcome, everybody. This is the 11 o'clock Friday class, and today we're working on Christmas music, and we're doing The Little Drummer Boy. So it's going to be all Christmas from now until Christmas. So thank you very much for attending, and let's get right to it. Little Drummer Boy, what do we know about it? This was originally known as the Carol of the Drums. It was not always known as the Little Drummer Boy, and that was all the way back in 1941. It was first recorded in 1951 by the Trapp Family Singers, okay? The same singers that brought you The Sound of Music. Interesting details to know. And then it was recorded, I have a whole list here. It goes on and on and on and on of a lot of people that made it famous, because this is just one of those Christmas classics. 1958, the Harry Simeon Chorale. 1962, the Ray Conniff Singers. Also Bing Crosby, Johnny Cash, Johnny Mathis, Andy Williams. Marlene Dietrich did a version in German. Joe Stafford, the Supremes, Joan Baez, Henry Mancini. And then in 1967, Lou Rawls did a version, and Stevie Wonder did a version. 1969, here's a good one for you. Jimi Hendrix. Yeah, I'll bet you that was a wild one. In 1970, the Jackson 5 and the Temptations. And in 1979, Emmylou Harris. So you can go anywhere, country, disco. You can pretty much do a lot of things. I have 7 different rhythms chosen here, okay? And I started with song setup. And song setup comes up to bolero at 112. Now, what we're going to talk about today is the tempo, because some of your tempos are going to be 112, and some of your tempos are going to be 56, which is half of that. Okay, why? Because if you made all of these tempos at 112, some of them would sound like da 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 da. So you have to watch that. If you pick a rhythm and it sounds too fast, cut the tempo in half, but play it still at the same tempo that we're going to play it today. So you just have to cut it in half, and I'll show you what I mean. The bolero is at 112. And this is more, it says use a march. Well, I always tell you ignore that, but in this case, a march actually is a pretty good way to start. What if you have a smaller instrument? On the Freedom 3, I was just on the Freedom 3, traditional march was very good, and the 2-beat piano, which is also under traditional, worked very well. On the easies, traditional full band and traditional pianist, which I believe that's a classical piano under traditional pianist, was very good. Or smooth guitarist was very good. So you have to find what you like. And as far as sounds, pretty much anything. Because if you've got people like Johnny Cash playing it, your country guitar is going to be fine. Or if you've got the Jackson 5 playing it, you could go with your horns and your vocals, your saxes. Pretty much anything is going to be fine. You're even going to see where I'm going to do one on a Renaissance background. We're going to use the troubadours as well. But I'm starting with the song setup, which is bolero at 112. Here we go. And I'm going to take the second ending And if you wanted to do a drum solo, this is the perfect background to do a drum solo in between verses. You do a no chord. You could just do this, or you could also do the fill-in. Okay, so that's always nice to use that drum solo in between on something called the Little Drummer Boy. So that works. That's your song setup, and it came up on the bolero, which is actually under Latin. And it works very well for this.
Dawn,
All
I
right,
have a question.
Yes, go ahead, Sue.
On the page 111, the last two lines, is that where you would put the drum solo?
Anywhere
Or
you
on the
want to.
last?
Anywhere you want to. You can put the drum solo in between, right after you play the first verse. You could do a little bit of a drum solo, go back to play the second verse. Then, the second time you play it through, you could end the song, do a drum solo, do a transpose, go back and play it again. That's totally up to you as to where you want to put it. But I would use your drum solos to divide your verses.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, good question. So this gives you a little bit of creativity so that you can make the song make it your own, make it how you want to. You also notice that I put in some double notes. Now you don't have to play those. You could always just put in duet and play them and just play the top notes that are written here, and you're going to be absolutely fine. But it makes it a little more of a challenge to put your double notes in. So I will tell you what those are. If you also noticed, my left hand was doing more stuff than what's actually on your paper, right?
Yeah.
Which means I added extra chords. Now, the extra chords are optional, but get your pencils out and let's put them in. Okay. Now, I'm going to also call out the lyrics because I don't know if everybody has the same version. My version is written in the key of F. Okay, and it's a 3-pager. So hopefully everybody's is the same. F goes for the first 2 measures. Come, they told me, pa. And then your next one measure, you're going to have 4 chords, 1 per count. So over the B flat for rum, put a B flat, butterfly flat. Over the A for pum, put an F, fish. Over the B flat for pum, another B flat. And over the A for pum, F. So you're just going back and forth between B flat and F. Just going back and forth between those two. Pum, 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 pum. Now you can do it with your pointer and your thumb if you want. Dun, 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 dun. That's probably the best way to do it, is use your pointer on the F and your thumb on the B flat like you would normally play that.
So that's
right,
B,
we're gonna do this.
F, B flat, F?
B flat, F, B flat, F. Those are the 4 chords. We're going to do the same thing on line 2. Third measure for the rum pum pum pum. Over the B flat, put a B flat. Over the A, put an F. Over the B flat, put a B flat. And over the A, put an F. So you're doing the same thing. Do you have to do that? No. But try it. I think it's a little bit of a challenge, and I think you'll like it. Let's go to line 3. Our finest gifts we bring. The C is good for 1 measure and 3 beats. Beat 4 of the second measure. Over the D for pa, put a G minor or a G minor 7. Next measure over the C, put a C7. C and B flat. Over the A, put an F, fish. and over the G, put a C chicken. Let's go to the next line. To lay before the king. You're on C. The second measure, before, over that C, put an F chord for 3 counts. Beat 4 over the D, put a B flat, butterfly flat. Then the F that's printed there, you may make that a 7 if you wish, E flat and F. The B flat is perfect right where it is. Let's go to the next page. Hopefully you have the same version I do. No changes in the first line. The F and C are fine right where they are. Second line, third measure. You're going to put those same 4 notes in B flat, F, B flat, F. Over the B flat, put the B flat. Over the A, put the F. Over the B flat, and over the A, F. Okay, let's go down to line 4. Mary nodded, pa-ra-pa-pum-pum. 1, 2, 3. Fourth measure, the last measure. We're going to do B flat, F again. Over the B flat, over the A, F. Over the B flat, over the A, F. Repeat that on the last line, last measure. Pum-pum-pum-pum. B flat, F. Over the B flat, over the A, F. Over the B flat, and over the A, F. All right, then we go to the next page. Top line, I played my drum for him. The C chord is good for 1 measure and 3 beats. Over the D, beat 4, put a G minor, gorilla minor. That's G and B flat. The next measure over the C, put a C7. Over the A, put an F fish. And over the G, put a C chicken. Let's go to the next line. Third measure, I played my best for him. Over the C for the word best, put an F fish for 3 counts. Beat 4 over the D, put a B flat, butterfly flat. The next line, no changes. Fourth line, then he smiled at me. The last measure, rup-a-pum-pum, is B flat, F again. Over the B flat, over the A, F, over the B flat, and over the A, F. And that's it. That's the end of the song. Okay, before we go into roadmap, I'm going to play it one more time a different way. This is the Grand March. It is under your march, and it is again at 112. This is almost the same. I'm just going to play one verse of it this way. This is almost the same as the bolero. This is different. Your fill-in is going to be different. So you might want to check and see which fill-in you like the best. Let's do the roadmap, and then I'll play another version. I have 7 versions today. Wow. All right. The first verse is all of page 1. The first 2 lines of page 2, and on line 3, you see that first ending. And there you have your repeat dots. So you make those a color, and they're taking you all the way back to the beginning of the song. So in between the 4/4 and the F note is where you make that color. The second time you play this, all of page 1, the first two lines of page 2, the first measure of the third line, and then you're going to skip the first ending, so you might want to make a colorful 2 and an arrow over to the second ending. Just like that. That way it's just easier to see where you're going, and then you finish the song.
Dawn,
Yes?
on page 110, the very top line. Okay, the second measure,
Is this the first, second, or third page? I got it out of a
Second-
different book, so my page numbers
second
are
page.
different.
is 110, where it says rum pum 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 on the very top.
Okay, that's the second page.
Yeah, second page.
Okay.
Yeah, did you add any chords up there?
No, the first line is F and C. That's it.
Oh, okay,
Yep, you didn't miss anything.
okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, I'm going to play it one more time, part of it. This time I used toys. Now, toys is the perfect background for the music box dancer, but also because this is kind of like a children's song almost, it totally changes the flavor by using the March toys variation. And I'm at 112 again. Isn't that cute? That just gives it a whole different flavor.
Dawn,
Okay, yes, go ahead, Sue.
is March toy variation, what, is that a style?
That's a music style. It's called
Oh, yeah.
toys.
What is-
It's called toys,
Oh,
and it's
Uh-huh.
underneath your March button.
oh, the grand, or whatever it is, yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
it's underneath your March button. One of your
Okay.
variations is called toys. Now, if you've got one of the other organs, Marquee, Grand Marquee, the Rialto, the Inspire, the Fanfare, the Journey, it's
Liberty.
going to be, if you have it, it's going to be probably under a different category. So you
Oh.
need to go to your style setup, or you just need to check your manual and see if you can find it. And if
Thumbs
you
up.
don't have toys, see me after class. How about that? And we can fix you up. All right, let's do some fingering. All right, F1, G2, A3, 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 B flat 4, A3, B flat 4, A3. Remember, do it in pencil because your fingers might not like what mine do. You might want to do something different. F1, F1, G2, A3, 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 B flat 4, A3, B flat 4, A3. Third line, G1, A2, B flat 3, C4, 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 D5, C4, B flat 3, A2, G1. Now, this next phrase I did two different ways. I'm going to give you the one that I think is the easiest. Put a check mark at the end of line 3 and do G2, A1 with a circle. You're going to do a 2 and a thumb tuck. B flat 2, C3, 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 D4, E flat 5, D4, C3, B flat 2. There are other ways to do it, but it involves more thumb tucking and crossing over. This way you only have to do it that one time. Let's go to the next page. D4, C3, B flat 2, A1. You might want to put an arrow on the next C, make it a 4. B flat 3, A2, G1. Check mark. F1, G2, A3, 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 B flat 4, A3, B flat 4, A3. All right, the first ending, G2, F1, G2, F1. Second ending, same thing, G2, F1, G2, F1. All right, now I'm just going to give you fingering as if you're just playing single notes. And if you want, this would be the place where if you want to put the duet on, you may. I will give you the second notes, but let's just do regular fingering right now. F1, G2, A3, 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 B flat 4, A3, B flat 4, A3. The last line, F1, F1, G2, A3, 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 B flat 4, A3, B flat 4, A3. And the last page. A lot of repetition here. It's a fun song to play. G1, A2, B flat 3, C4, 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 D5, C4, B flat 3, A2, G1. Next line, G1, A2, B flat 3, C1. Circle it. That is a thumb tuck. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? That is my second way of doing it. You might want to go back and do it the easier way. Let's go back. G2, F1 with a circle. I think this is the actual easiest way to do it. B flat 2, A3, 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 D4, E flat 5, D4.
Whoa, you lost me here.
Yeah, that's because I started giving you the second set of fingering that I had for that phrase.
Can we go back to line 2 on third
Yes,
page?
we can. Yes, we can. Let's go back to line 2. I played my best for him. All right, I think this is the easiest way. The first way I started was the way that you needed more thumbs and more crossing over. So let's do it this way. G2, A1. Circle the 1, it's a thumb tuck. B flat 2, C3, 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 D4. Third line, E flat 5, D4, C3, B flat 2, D4, C3, B flat 2, A1. You might want to put an arrow on this next C, make it a 4. B flat 3, A2, G1. Next line, F1. Yep, go ahead and put a check mark in the rest. That would be a good idea. F1, G2, A3, 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 B flat 4, A3, B flat 4, A3, and the last line, G2, F1, G2, F1. Okay. Now here's another way you can play it. Go to your classic and put it on symphonic. Now, symphonic at 112 sounds stupid, so put it on 56. This is the one where you have to cut it in half. Here it is at 56. That's your symphonic. If you had this at the 112, it would really not sound good. So you'd cut that tempo in half to make it work. Okay, that's another way to do it.
I
Let's
like
go
that.
to troubadours. Troubadours is under classic as well. Yes, it's under classic as well. And this one is at, what did I put this one at? 112. This one I kept it on the upper one. If it sounds too slow, you know you got to double it. If it sounds too fast, just cut it in half. So the troubadours, this is the one that makes it sound like a complete Renaissance style. And it really changes the flavor a lot. Interesting drum solo on that one. Yeah.
I like
So,
that.
yeah, that
like
really gives it a completely different flavor, and you probably didn't think about going to that one for this. So give that one a try as well. All right, let's do the double notes. And I have two more, one of which is very interesting. Let's go to the bottom of the second page, and let's put in your double notes. Now remember, you could just hit duet. You could just put duet on for this one, but it makes it a little more challenging. I am not going to give you fingering on this. This is something you have to figure out yourself. So what I'm going to do is give you a note under every melody note right now.
Is that the last line?
Starting on second to the last line, Mary nodded, pa-ra-pa-pum-pum, okay? Under the F, C. And that's going to be below the staff, the first line below the staff. Under the G, E, elephant, first line. Under the A, F, fish. Under the next A, F, fish. Under the next A, same thing, F, fish on the first space. Under the B flat, G on the second line. And if you put them on the right lines and spaces, it's going to be a lot easier for you to know your spacing with your fingers. Under the A, F on the first space. Under the B flat, G on the second line. Under the A, F on the first space. Okay, sometimes it's going to be a note apart. Sometimes you're going to have two notes in between. Most of the time, it's just going to be one key in between. Let's go to the fourth line. The ox and lamb kept time. Under the F, C on the first line under the staff. Under the F, C, the first line under the staff. Under the G, E, elephant, the first line. Under the A, F, the first space, and that's for all the A's. Put an F on the first space, that whole measure. Last measure on the page, under the B flat, G on the second line. Under the A, F on the first space. Under the B flat, G on the second line. Under the A, F on the first space. Let's go to the last page. I played my drum for him. Under the G, E on the first line. Under the A, F on the first space. Under the B flat, G on the second line. Under the 3 C's, put A's on the second space. Under the D, put a B flat, flat butterfly on the third line. Under the C, put an A, alligator, second space. Under the B flat, G, gorilla on the second line. Under the A, F, fish on the first space. Under the G, E on the first line. Let's go to the second line. I played my best for him. Remember, you can just hit duet. You don't, and just play the notes that are there. E, under the G, E on the first line. Under the A, F on the first space. Under the B flat, G on the second line. Under the C, A on the second space, and that's for all 3 C's. Put an A on the second space. Under the D, B flat on the third line, butterfly flat under that D. Let's go to the next line. Under the E flat, C on the third space. So it's right underneath it. You're doing one key in between. Under the D, B flat on the third line, butterfly flat. Under the C, A, second space. And here's under this next one, under the B flat, you're going to put an F on the first space. It's going to be a little wider spread. That's so it matches the chord. Under the D, B flat, butterfly flat on the third line. Under the C, A, alligator on the second space. Under the B flat, G on the second line. Under the A, F on the first space. Under the C, A on the second space. Under the B flat, G on the second line. Under the A, F, fish on the first space. And under the G, E on the first line. And that's it for your second notes. And then you're going to play the last 2 lines just with single notes. Okay, any questions before I play again? Nope. Remember, all you got to do is hit duet and go. Now, I also played this on classic basic at 56. Again, it was like symphonic. I needed to slow that down. And it is very basic. You get a nice little piccolo solo in that one. But the one that I really thought was interesting, I did like the Troubadours. I thought that one was good. I thought Toys was good. But this one is called Bagpipes, and it's under traditional. For those of you who love bagpipes and you have no idea what to actually play with that bagpipe background, this is a good one. Danny Boy is good. Amazing Grace is good. And Little Drummer Boy works with the bagpipes. So 112. This one is at that higher tempo.
Hi.
All right.
This gives you a really nice little drum solo. Remember, drum solo is a no chord.
I like
Colon. That's
I
your
like the drums better on this music.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's
try
cool.
try different things. You know, you don't always have to go with song setup, although song setup with the bolero is actually very, very good. Very, very good. But try different things and just have a good time with this song. And hopefully I gave you enough to challenge you just a little bit.
This came up
And
under song setup?
yeah, this is in your song
Yeah,
setup.
Bolero
Absolutely.
is.
Absolutely.
Oh, Bolero,
Yeah.
but not the little
Bolero,
drummer.
yes.
Bolero.
Yep.
Under L.
Oh, shoot, I erased something. Oh.
Any questions?
Yes, I do have
Oh,
one.
okay.
When you say that Bolero is tempo is 112, and then the others are 58 in half, I don't get that. What does
Okay.
that mean?
Okay, what that means is, okay, your
What is
song setup comes up to 112. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I were to count 1,
Okay.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it would be 112 beats in 1 minute. Okay,
Oh,
I'm going to lock it at 112. And then I'm going to go to the symphonic. Okay?
okay. Yep.
And I'm going to play it. And I want you to just listen to see what it sounds like. That's a little,
Oh.
it's a little bit too much. You could try it, it would be okay. It's okay, it's all right,
Huh.
but it's a little bit too much stuff. So I'm going to take my tempo and I'm going to divide it in 2. Okay, so 56. So I'm going to go to my keypad. I could scroll if I wanted to. I'm going to go to my numbers. I'm going to go to 56, and I'm going to touch the tempo button, and now all of a sudden it's 56. So now it's symphonic playing at half the speed.
Hmm.
Did you hear it slow down?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
But I'm going to play it exactly like I played the other one.
Hmm.
Did
Huh.
it sound a little bit better?
Yeah.
Yeah, the other one when at
Yeah.
112 sounded like it was just racing.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. And then
Okay.
if I also went to, now let's keep it on 56 for once, and let's go to the Troubadours, which we liked as well. Where's my Troubadours? There it is. At 56, and listen to, maybe I had it at 56. Nope, this one sounded good at both. No, this one sounds better at 112. So I
Okay.
would go 1, 1, 2, and make it go twice as fast.
Okay. Yep.
So you have to use your judgment and see which one sounds the best.
Yeah.
Is it racing or is it plodding?
Mhm.
Or do neither of them sound good? See, that's what you have to determine.
Mhm.
Do you understand a
Okay.
little bit more about
I
cutting
do.
that,
Yeah.
cutting it in half?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I could hear it.
If I were to go to a polka, okay, which probably is not going to sound right on this, but if I go to a polka at 112, it's going to sound like this.
Yeah.
That sounds a little fast, right? For this song.
Yeah.
So I'd want to cut that in half and see if I liked it any better. 56, tempo. That sounds more like a march.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
there's just some rhythms that are just very, very, have a lot of stuff.
Right.
But what I'm
Right.
trying to do is open up your doors so that you can use more of your rhythms by changing the tempo. Sometimes just by either
Yeah.
doubling the tempo or turning the tempo in half, but you're still playing the song exactly the same as where we started.
Right. Huh.
Make sense a little
That's
bit now?
interesting. Yep. Yep.
Good.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. It just gives
I
you
wondered
more
why I was going to go from
choices.
112 to 58. Okay. Yeah, that makes a
58 is
difference.
close.
Yeah.
58 is close. You can adjust up or down to wherever it feels right for you. Remember, the numbers don't have to be exact. They have to make you feel like playing the song. That is always the final judgment. Use your ears and pick the one that makes you feel like playing the song. Just because Dawn suggested it doesn't mean that it's right for you.
Right.
Sometimes you go, ooh, she chose an ugly background for that one. And that's why we're all musicians and we all have our own choices. That's why I give you a couple of suggestions just to get you punching the buttons on your instrument. And again, don't be afraid to go from upper keyboard to lower keyboard and then try the double notes and see if you like those, or if you like it better by throwing in a duet just to give it a little bit of variety. Otherwise, it's the same thing over and over and over again.
Right. I like that.
And then if you want to use that drum solo in between the verses, just to give it, again, a little bit of variety, that's what it's there for.
Okay.
Any other questions? You guys are awesome. Go play music. You can't go to the beach today. It's raining.
Yeah.
Have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you all again next time. And
You
start looking for
too.
your songs with up or down in the title, because that's going to be a fun concert.
Okay. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. You guys
Bye.
too. Next week,
Bye,
it's beginning
Dawn.
to look a lot like Christmas.